Well, I've been working on this knife for the last 3 days, which probably is my record for how quickly I've turned around an order for a knife. Someone had saw the video on my channel about a Kephart knife that I made about a year and a half ago. I think it'll be 2 years this summer. And he wanted one like that. And as luck would have it, when I made that knife, I had made 2 blades and still had one of them laying around. So the blade was already done and finished and everything. And it's a pretty simple knife, and had some free time for the last few days, so I banged it together, and should have been the slickest and quickest knife project I've ever done. But this thing has turned into a complete unmitigated disaster. I thought I would just show this just for something different. You know, I've been meaning to do more videos on kind of the day-to-day processes and things in the shop, and not just always showing the finished product. But so there was this one. Like I said, it should have been so quick and easy, but just one problem after another. Nothing on it really came out the way I wanted. I wasn't really that happy with the shape of the handle, and I'm not that happy with the shape of the sheath. And the biggest regret that I had with this knife was deciding to use these Cutler's compression rivets in there, which you see on a lot of full tang knives. And I used them a lot when I first started. My very first serious knife making things that I did were with those Green River full tang blades that you can buy from various places, and I put them together with these rivets. I've had these rivets laying around for got to be close to 20 years now, and I had some of them come out all right back then, and I thought that it would be a bit of an upgrade on this from just plain solid brass pins. So I thought I would use those, and just an endless disaster with those. I ended up taking these two out once. I had to drill them out, and then trying to get them back in again and countersink the holes was, well, it took half of the day yesterday. And you know, getting the depth of the holes right, which really kind of determines the thickness of the handle, was a nightmare, and they look like shit still. It's just impossible to get a decent finish on them. The only way that I could get it halfway decent looking was to have it recessed below the level of the handle, which, you know, makes it impossible to you know, have them sanded off and polished or anything, because none of them are actually level in the handle. So I would be, you know, probably filing right through the head of the rivet on one side just to get it level on the other side. And despite all that, by this morning it was finally kind of coming together into something that was all right, that I could live with myself for selling to the customer that ordered it. And I was putting the second coat of linseed oil, which I don't use linseed oil very often, but decided to on this knife. I was putting the second coat on there and put it under my heat lamp here for a little bit, just to try to get it to soak in faster. And when I checked on it, that heat had opened up a horrible crack on the button. Yeah, now it's showing up good. Just opened up. I tried banging the rivets together tighter, tried putting a clamp on it, ended up putting a dent in the handle from the clamps, and it's not closing up, and just awful. Just what a nightmare. Should have been such an easy project, easy sale, but I'm going to end up redoing this. I thought about drilling these rivets out again and chiseling the handle off and redoing the handle, but I decided I'll probably just keep this as one of my misfit knives that I keep around. My only knives that I ever make that I actually keep are the seconds, I guess you could call them, the rejects. They have a crack in the blade or a crack in the handle, and I think I'll keep that as one of these and forge another blade. So the customer will have to wait a little bit extra on this one. It'll, well, probably still be fairly quick compared to some of my other ones, but would have had it turned around in less than a week, I think. But I'll redo it, and the customer will end up with a much better knife for that. So that's just the way it goes sometimes. Definitely my greatest knife making disaster. Definitely, at least since I started actually selling them regularly. But thought you might enjoy seeing that anyways.